Welcome back to the studio. So we've covered canvases, brushes and paints. Now we're going to look at what else you need. There are some essential items which you should be using to paint with, including palettes, an easel and something to keep yourself clean with, so baby wipes and paper towels. I've assembled some items on the bench and we're going to have a look at them now. There's a few budget tips in there as well. Let's spin the camera around and have a look what I've got laid out. So we're back on my bench and I've got a selection of things to look at on here. First thing I'm going to look at are palettes. These are places where you're going to put your paint when you're mixing and where you're going to blend your colours. This is a disposable palette and it's a plastic coated paper and they come on a pad and they're sort of glued down one edge. These are very nice, and when you finish with them you can just peel them off and you can just dispose of them with the paint on. This is a bigger one. And this one's, I've taped it to a plastic serving mat, sort of thing you have on a kitchen table, okay? And this one is actually from a roll. So instead of it being on a pad, it's on a roll. Now this product and this one are identical. A pad of these, maybe £8 to £10. A big roll of this for £5. It's called freezer paper, and this is a brand I've been using for many years called Reynolds. I would advise buying yourself a roll of this. You can order it online very easily, and you can simply tape it to the backer like that, and then you can just dispose of them. It's a far cheaper way of working and much more economical. So there's a good tip for you. Of course, you could go for a full-size palette. Something like this. This is a Bob Ross acrylic palette, and it's lovely to use, and it's got lots and lots of surface area. But as I always joke with people, the bigger the palette, the bigger the mess, and the bigger the cleanup. And these are lovely to use, and they're lovely to stand to paint with. But if you're not used to holding a palette like this, 6 or 7 hours holding this, you will certainly know it. Your arms will be aching. So I would say probably get one of these later on when you're getting a bit more serious about your art. I would start off with something like this. Some other useful things to get when you start your painting. Some paper towel. This is great for wiping your brushes. It's great for wiping your hands. I should have done that before I came on camera, shouldn't I? Look at that. Lucky paws. Okay, and I would go for a budget range of paper towel. Don't go for one of the really expensive ones which have got a lovely sort of flocky feeling to them, because that sort of fibre gets tangled in the bristles of your brush. Next thing you know, it's all over your painting and you've got a canvas that looks really sort of fluffy and hairy. So budget range on those. Same on these. These are just budget baby wipes. They're not scented and they don't have anything else added to them. So there's none of that sort of lovely sort of skin softener in them that, well, this little fellow would like to have. But you don't want it on your hands and you don't want it on your brush handles. They become very slippery and hard to use. Get yourself some of these little fellas, cotton buds. You can buy a box of these. I think this had 300 in it and I cut them in half. So I got 600 disposable brushes. How bad? Not bad at all for maybe $1. Get yourself some masking tape. Mr. Tape Holder here is doing a lovely job for us. And that's just 1/2 inch masking tape, but it comes in 1/2 inch and 1 inch. And I find 1/2 inch particularly useful for doing painting with. And finally, an easel. This is an aluminium easel. It's a 3-legged easel. It stands up very nicely and very steady. And a good firm easel is essential when you're painting in oils. Don't buy anything sort of too cheap, because unfortunately they tend to be very poor quality and they're not heavy enough. You want an easel which is capable of holding a canvas maybe 16 inches by 20 or a little bit bigger, and anything too lightweight just won't take the punishment you're going to dish out. It'll be jumping all over the place and you'll be cursing that you didn't buy something a little bit better quality. So this is an aluminium one and it collapses and it's very nice and easy to maneuver around the place. So you can fold it up and stand it in a corner. And I would suggest using a tabletop easel. You can get freestanding easels that stand on the floor, but then most of the time you'll always have to stand. This one, I can use it on my bench, which is a kitchen table size or a kitchen worktop height, but I can also use it on a regular table as well. So this would be my recommendation. Get a tabletop easel, not too cheap. They come in wood and aluminium, and they are readily available.